All right, we are in the house for April 29, 2025. I'm still getting used to 2025. Can you believe that? 7:01. My name is Joey Ragona. You are who you are. Thank you for being here live. If you are live, let us know with a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, it's kind of weird to say at the top of the hour, but anyway, and let us know by hashtag replay. And I hope that my guest is, no, she's in the green room. So I got to, let me see, bring her in. I don't know. We're having some technical difficulties. Uh, let's see. No. Um, hmm. Don't know
Oh,
what happened. I got to reassign all of these things. So give me a second here. So we got. Here's what happens. You're seeing this live behind the scenes of what we do and getting all the sources back into where we're supposed to have them. All right. So we got those ones. I think this one here we still need the guest, and there we go. Lauren, okay, I think we got you live now. How you doing?
good. Sorry, that was me.
That's all good. It's all good. Not well. Anyway, so I'm gonna look down here my iPad here, and which one do I want? Because I want to monitor what's happening, and there's real technical issues here. I don't know what's going on. It says I got no internet connection, but I do, obviously, because we are live. So I'm not going to be able to monitor on the old Facebooks, it looks like. It's so odd. All right. Well, why don't I have internet here? Okay. So Lauren, why don't you take over the show and I'll figure this thing out. Tell us what's going on and what we're going to be talking about today.
So, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics today, and it's related to productivity. But how do you be productive when everything feels important and everything feels that it has to get done today and now? Obviously, that's not possible. And I think it creates a lot of stress for people, and I, I would say they end up getting less done with that feeling that everything's important and has to get done. So that's what we're talking about, and there are so many factors that play into that. So
Do you
that's
want to open up the conversation? Because I made some notes about this too, and it's funny because you talk about this now, and I was just telling my wife, like, so how'd your day go? And it was a really busy day for us. But it's like, did I really get a lot done? Because I'm hiring new people for the team, so the last couple of days I've had it has all been kind of like me sitting around and being available on Zoom or doing short little videos and answering questions, that type of thing. And here we are another month later, and I'm already getting set for the next routine or round of things that are going on. And I'm like, wow, where did this whole month go? Where did the quarter go? And I don't know how people do it, especially in today's world. It's always been like this, but as a solopreneur, one man show, yes, I've got a team, like, a couple of VAs and that stuff, but basically I'm a one man show, and I'm pretty productive. Like, I'm pretty good at the stuff, and I am overwhelmed by the amount of stuff, the amount of things that I have to do. And I'm looking at other people and I'm like, how do they do it? So, do you want to open up the conversation? Because I know you did some research as well.
yes, and I would say what appears is not always what's accurate, right? So just keep that in
Okay.
mind. Okay,
Okay.
um, so there are two things I'll start with, and the first one is actually having a conversation with us about a client today, and that is distinguishing between how long we want something to take because that's what we want, and how long it actually takes. And so I think a lot of times we want something done in an hour, and so we schedule an hour, and it's just not possible to do it in an hour. So then there's frustration, and then or you're running late, or you feel like you didn't get done what you need to. So
Yeah.
I think an important thing, and sometimes if you're doing something new and you've never done it before, you don't know how long it's going to take, right?
Exactly.
And estimating, and that's okay. But once you know, then set yourself up for success. So if something's going to take 3 hours and you only want it to take an hour, like, what's the point in scheduling an hour? Unless you're going to break it up into like 3 1 hour segments. But I think a lot of people just want it off the list and get it done. So that was the first thing. So I don't know if you want to comment on that, and then I'll have a
Yeah,
second
I
big point.
do. Yeah, I want to see. I know that you and I work differently because you don't have ADHD. You're a very linear person. You like to have scheduling things and all that. And I've tried scheduling. I have open areas of my life, but what I do is I don't really plan on, okay, this is going to take an hour. Like I always know, first of all, right away, that it's going to take double the amount of time no matter what I say. So I'm always saying if this is going to take an hour, it's going to take two. That's the first thing. But I don't really schedule it. But what I do is I have focus sessions. And so because I don't know how long things are going to take, then I start with my 50 minutes. Like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I start the countdown timer and it goes down. And then wherever I'm at, I'm like, wow, that's taking a little bit longer than I thought. And then I give myself a break. And this is probably, but not really the same kind of topic, but maybe it'll open up another conversation. But that just allows my ADHD brain to go, take a break, and either I want to come back and finish it, or I move on to something else. And I've progressed in the hour. So I just wanted to say that. I kind of probably took you off track, but
No, not at all. Because when you say you don't know if you've gotten anything done or you've been productive, right? At the
yeah,
end of the day, if you just ask yourself, okay, did I do anything today to move the needle on
yeah,
something that is? Then you were. Some days it might be
yes,
big, it might be small or feel smaller, but that's what we want to like measure. Like, did we do something that moves the needle? Because here's the thing, and we all fall into this, is what we choose to do is often dependent on our mood, what we feel like
right,
doing, what's easy to do, or what we enjoy doing. But that's not
right,
the thing that move it. But we tell ourselves, well, it has to be done, it's important, and so I'm going to do it today. When the truth is, when we probably looked at what we needed today, we probably didn't want to do it, right? Because it's hard, boring, whatever. And so we choose the other thing to do, and we still feel good about it because we're being productive. And
hmm
in a way, but if you're doing that every day, then at the end of the week, like what, like how did you move things forward? So it's a totally relevant fact or statement.
yeah. It's figuring out, what I'm always looking back and saying this is how far I've got today. But I want to talk a little bit about how do we know what's urgent? How do we know what's important? And I've got the right on my wall, right above this monitor. That's why it's there from The One Thing. You've read that book, right? The One Thing.
Yes.
So that one thing, which is what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. That's brilliant. And that's where on my wall because I know how I operate. And as I move forward, that's how I really choose what's really important because everything is important, like you said. And I'm like, okay, well, then this is what I don't want to do, which a lot of it has to do with, my accounting or whatever else. Thank God I got a bookkeeper and that in place now. But it's more like, I don't want to do this. I want to do content. I love doing that, or I want to go and research and revamp things and do that kind of stuff. I just love absorbing information. But I know that if I don't get the taxes done, then it's only going to get worse and worse and worse, and more pressure becomes, more pressure. So I'm like, well, what's the one thing that I need to do? And it goes right back to like get that thing done. Right. So then and I don't know if will help anybody else, but as a solopreneur, again, this is where it comes into play because I've been caught in this. Well, all my taxes are now behind, and because I don't want to do it, I'm procrastinating. I don't want to do all this other stuff, and it not only led me to um to validate what you're saying is like I don't want to do this stuff and the mood and all these other things. To like, well, what's the one thing that is going to make my life right? And it's like, well, go hire somebody to help you do that thing to take it off your plate. And so everything goes into play. So any solopreneur watching this right now, I'm telling you that's the secret. And it hurts sometimes because you're paying someone to do something when maybe you don't have as much money as you think you do. However, you're also um you're also destroying your ability to make more money because you're stuck in things that you just don't want to do, and it drags out and it drags out and drags out. So anyway, I threw a lot at you there, but anyway.
Okay, that happened to me this weekend. So, and I had someone to delegate it to, and I didn't. Is
Mhm.
um, is we look at, well, I don't want to hire someone because it's going to cost you money, but it's going to cost you money anyhow because that
Yeah.
time you need to do what your genius is, um, because no one else can do it. So when you're not doing that and you're doing things that someone else could do better and quicker, then that's costing you money, right? So I'll give you an example. So I, one of my, what is not a strength of mine and what I don't enjoy is writing a bio about myself. I really don't like doing that. Anyhow, I have to because I'm at a summit this coming week and, well, this weekend. And so I promised the bio by Friday. And then go, listen, I'm having a busy day. I'll get it to you by lunchtime tomorrow. Well, lunchtime tomorrow came. Thank God the person's really understanding, right? So I didn't do it, found other stuff to do, which was good to do. I needed to do it, but not when there was something more
Right.
important. And
Right.
then, so now it's Sunday midday. And I'm going, if I don't give this to them by Monday, then it's going to impact them, right? So I sit down to write a bio and I go, oh, this shouldn't take long. And I've got other bios to look at. Well, first of all, I couldn't find the other bios and what happened to them. I'm not joking. I sat there for, I think, 4.5 hours trying to write a little bio that was worse than when I started,
Oh,
right? And
wow.
I was so frustrated at the end of it, and I was so panicked because now I had nothing and I needed to get it to them. And so, two things: the person who I could have given it to, I messaged her and she knocked it out. I don't know how quickly because I got it back so quickly. Um,
Right.
and the person who's running the summit said, "Maud, I could have written it for you in 20 minutes." And so that's an example of I had a story of why I was doing it. And I'm not saying that that story didn't have some validity, but it certainly didn't help me be productive. It was a waste of time, really. And so that's an
What
example when the other people that I could have spent that time creating content, I could have spent time writing for my new website, and I didn't.
right.
And so that's an example of, yes, I'm paying that person, but it doesn't even equate to the nearly 5 hours I lost. So when there's someone, or if you don't have someone, then find someone.
Right.
Um, because I do believe it will save you time, and time is money, blah, blah, blah. And so, and it's hard because, as you said, like we don't want to pay someone and we feel bad about it. But
Well,
that's a
yeah,
mind.
it is a mindset game, and even I know how entrepreneurs think because I'm one of them. And, even if I look back at if anybody was parachuting in and watching me the last 2 days, going and training the bookkeeper and going through stuff and getting on Zoom, recording everything or answering questions on Slack and all these, it basically took up my entire 2 days so far. And somebody would say, "Well, man, you could have just done that yourself. Like all those hours, you could have just done the work yourself." Yes, yes. However, I was doing other work at the same time while the other thing was being done. So now I'm doubling up on the work that needs to be done, right? Even though I'm kind of on call during that conversation. Now, and this conversation is going to go in all kinds of different angles, but there's so many points to this because if you've followed anything that I've said over the last, 6 years, or next, it hasn't been 6 years. It's been the last 2 years now that I've been doing this. Is record every dang thing that you do. Record everything. When you're on Zoom with your team or whatever you're doing, just record the dang thing. And so now I've done that, and we have got um, I don't know, at least 6, 7, maybe 10 SOPs built already out of those conversations, because now we can use AI and everything else. And hey, just go and grab the SOPs from this. Boom. That is now being built, that I will never have to spend time
Yeah.
realistically showing that thing again. So yes, it's been the front of it has been like, oh my God, you spent like the whole day. Wasn't that a waste of time? No.
No.
So, because that's the most urgent thing and important thing that is now being moved off to a different quarter, or quadrant of that matrix, right? The Eisenhower Matrix, or whatever matrix you want to
Yes.
use, right? It's being moved.
And it's not a
Anyway,
waste of because it's going to save you, oh my gosh, who knows how many hours when instead of you having to be there, go and watch this video, go and watch this. And then if you've got questions, come
right,
to me. It's
right,
short-term pain, long-term gain. So that to me is very productive, even though you might feel that, oh my gosh, I got nothing done these 2 days. You did. You got,
right.
because,
Yeah.
yeah, so
So
I
what
agree with
about,
that.
okay, so is there another piece of this? Like, so when I want to talk a little bit about the survival mode. This is a big one for me. I was in survival mode. I don't know about you or anybody listening. By the way, if you're here, let us know with a hashtag live or hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. If you got a comment, throw it in the comments. I'm not ignoring you or Lauren here. I'm looking down at my iPad just in case something's coming in um from the group, because that's the only place I can see it, and then the other ones I can see up here. So let us know with a comment or question that you have. But what about the survival mode? And this is where I was building my business. I think I can't even use the word building without laughing about it, because this really wasn't building. It was more in reaction. Like every day I would wake up and I would be reacting to whatever was going on. And there was no intentional building. It was more of survival. Oh my gosh, okay. I just got to finish this. This is the most important thing right now, whatever it is. I got to get a lead, or I got to finish my taxes, or I got to send this email, like whatever. And it's always reactive. And the business was never growing because it was never intentional. It was always reaction.
So part of that, and this is like a psychology thing, is
Yeah, yeah,
that
let's go.
we have that internal discomfort, right? And then it creates anxiety because, oh my gosh, I'm anxious about this. Then that creates a feeling of the anxiety gets interpreted as urgency. And so, but it feels urgent because we're getting more stressed about it, but it's not necessarily a priority. So part
Right.
of that is, am I feeling, why is this creating this emotion? And then what does that drive you to take what action? But
Mm-hmm.
as we, all our actions come from our thoughts and our feelings. So if we feeling anxious and we thinking, about it in a certain way, then it's understandable. The action is going to be congruent with that feeling, but it's kind of like a false like conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do you,
I,
okay, go ahead.
no, so one thing, so another thing, and it's not related to productivity, but often we interpret, or not some, not everyone, but anxiety for excitement, right? Because it can be a similar feeling. And so, that's also, so you've got to just stop and pause. And I don't think we're not good at that, most of us. And go, okay, what am I feeling and what is it really connected to?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
having a false anxiety is definitely not going to help anyone be productive. So, and that kind of, you said earlier, what's a real like priority, what's not. It comes back to what's a real fire, and this has to get done to an emotional fire, which I've just spoken about, and then an imagined one. Where we think it is, but it's not. But it's not driven by emotions; it's driven by our thinking. Um, that carries whatever it carries. So we just have to distinguish between that. So and it comes back to also like ties into deadlines, right?
Yeah.
Deadline, a real deadline, is where someone else is going to be impacted by, I don't want to say you, because like by me not doing something. That's a real,
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
bio, right? That was a real priority. Otherwise, many other people were going to be impacted. But if
right.
someone's not going to be impacted or have a negative consequence for it, then we making up our deadlines, which is important to do, but it's, again, they have to be doable, um, accurate, and not again just driven by, oh, I want this done by then, but there's not a reason. Right? So what I do with groups and clients is, if I say, for example, this is like a good marketing example. If I say that the opportunity to enroll in this is shutting down at Wednesday at midnight, and a lot of people do that, and then you see, oh, you can do it for another day, there's another day. So what my standard is, I have to have a reason that I can tell someone else that it makes sense. So in this last group that I did, it was shutting down on Wednesday. So I knew how many people, because how many people were going to be in the group, influenced like how I was going to structure it. And I needed time I didn't want to be scrambling. So there was a reason. It wasn't some random date that I picked. And so if we can do that for ourselves with everything, or as many things as possible, then we probably don't create as many false deadlines, which again, it's what we want, but might not be practical. So that's another distinction to make in terms of how we're deciding, right?
Yeah, when we're talking about decision-making processes, one of the I think one of the gifts that I have because of ADHD is that I only have 2 time zones or time periods, which is now or not now. That's it. Now or not now. And then I also practice the 2-minute rule, which is like the now. So if it's gonna take me 2 minutes or less, I'm doing it right now. Doesn't matter. This is what I'm doing. Then I use
I,
the 10 rule. How much is this going to impact me in 10 minutes? How much is it going to impact me in 10 months from now and 10 years from now? What is this thing? And then the other part of it is also the hell yes or hell no. Is this a hell yes, I need to do this? And if it's not clear, I don't do it. So
yes.
all of those little ideas or mindset, hacks that I do help me get through the day and decide which one is important.
And the first one that you mentioned, like the 2-minute rule. So I know, and again, none of this is right or wrong. You have to find what
Right.
works. What works for me, what works for Joey may not work for you. So no one is
Right.
wrong in. But one of the principles of productivity is you wake up and you do the needle mover before you do anything
Yeah.
else. That
Yeah.
doesn't work because I'm distracted by all the little things that I know I have to do. So if I take an hour to knock all those things out, then I'm totally focused on what I have to do. So it comes
Agreed.
back knowing yourself and what works for you and what doesn't, but for good reason,
Yeah.
right? And that's why you have to figure yourself out and not just go, oh, everyone says this, so I need to do this when it doesn't work for you. And you constantly
Yeah.
like fight, right?
Yeah, and you're right. Getting to know who you are is super important. Again, I'm going to go back to my personality of ADHD and understanding of like because as an ADHD person, your dopamine is low. You have that's why we take a lot of risks. That's why we do a lot of stuff we do. Jumping in the fires and not worrying, not planning things out, making sure it's all right. It's just a rush. So if you go into, at least for me, when you try to eat that big frog first and do the big thing, I'm burnt. Like I'm trying to get through it, and it's a big job. I'm like, so my dopamine level is already half of what yours is when you wake up. Now I'm lower, and now I don't want to do a dang thing. So you're right. I looked at it and go, I don't want to do this. I'd rather do a small little thing that raises my. I'm like, wow, that was cool. I got that done. Yay, yippee! Good on me. So Lauren is absolutely right. Make sure that you follow your own lead. Like what do I like to do? And the only problem that I see with this, Lauren, is the 2-minute thing is if we find ourselves doing 2-minute things all day long. Like, so, hey, I got all these little things. That's not really the moving the needle. That's not what we're talking about. Is like stay behind the 2-minute things and think that you're really getting a lot of stuff done, because that means you're only doing tasks. And if you're caught up in tasks, there's probably another person you could hire to go do those things. Would you agree or disagree with that?
100%. So I give myself an hour. It never takes me an hour,
Cool.
but all these little things can totally be done in an hour, and typically it's less than that. But if that hour comes and I haven't, then I will put it to tomorrow, but it won't distract me because I've put it somewhere else and I knew I couldn't do it now. So,
Yeah.
and then the other thing, like kind of totally off this but related, is white, right? Creating space, and you just spoke to that, right? To think and process. If you're going all day, meeting to meeting to meeting, you're going to burn out. And there's actually a reason you're going to burn out. That was like one of my key things that I couldn't wait to talk about. And that's decision fatigue. That's a real thing.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
a thing. You can, and this may be not the scientific way to say it, but it makes it clear, is we have the capacity to make a certain amount of good decisions a day. And then
Right.
after, the quality of the decisions get worse. So that's also why people are so moody at the end of the day. And they, like they order the pizza for dinner because they're burnt out. And so I got this info somewhere, and I mean, don't hold me to it because, info comes from different places. But apparently there's a study done at Cambridge where, and it seems like a lot, that we make 35,000 decisions a day. Oh my God, if that is correct, man, it's just exhausting thinking about that. Is where the fatigue sets in after 70 to 100 decisions. Now, to me, I think we're probably not even making 100 decisions today, but we are. Everything we do is a decision. And that's
Exactly.
why of like Steve Jobs, right? He wore the same thing every day. One less decision to make. And what I do, and it wasn't intentional at the time, and now it was a good thing, is the little decisions that I can make at the end of the day where I don't have to be so on point. So I don't have to make them the next day. I do. So that
100%.
I'm kind of like leveraging my capacity. But so all the little, every time, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? I'll do this. Every like debate that's going on in your head, you're kind of burning up fuel.
Oh, yeah.
So that's another thing to consider.
Well, I'm with you there. That's why, I'm like Steve Jobs, not pretending to be like him, but same, years ago, whatever, 2010, I started doing that. It was like, I'm wearing the same dang thing every single day. That decision is gone. Breakfast, same thing, basically every day, all the same thing. I don't have to think about it, and I got routines. Everything is a routine. I in patterns, or so I'm not wasting time either. So like, I don't know, like I even know that when I make my coffee, because I grind my coffee and I make bulletproof and all that. Well, by the time I move from the grinder to go over there to get the filter, to bring the filter back, another process has already happened. Like it's programmed to a system. That's basically what it is. It's a system that works that I don't even have to think about it. Right? When you throw me off, it's one little thing that throws me off. I'm done, because my decision maker has been activated. So I want to make less decisions, just like you said. And even now, even with the team, so I've even have a document that says, first of all, I want the less decisions as possible. Here's the rule: if you go make the decision, don't ask me. If the decision is easy, and I got this from Dan Martell, I think it was. So I'm not taking credit for this, but I'm just following this. If the decision is easy, no, so if the decision is easily reversible, just go do it. Don't even ask me, because that means we can reverse it. If the decision is going to cost $50 or more, and it's a mistake, we'll eat the $50. I'm not going to, whatever. And then there's another piece of it. But it's those decisions where now I don't have to worry about it. Just go make the dang thing, because most of the stuff they ask me about is totally reversible, right? And I don't need to be there. And this is another thing, is what I talked about, is recording everything. So every time I get frustrated, or you don't have to tell me that, or this and that, I put it in a working document of like, this is how we communicate. This is the expectations of what we are all about. Because I'm getting Slack messages, I'm getting pings, I'm getting this and that. And I'm like, if I, let me give you a real world example. And again, this is not against the team or anything. This is just like what I figured out. Maybe it'll help you or somebody else. But it's more of like when I send a message, because we use Notion a lot, right? So I'll send a message and say, and give a comment. Go, hey, Lauren, can you go check this out? Or can you go do this? Then most people will just politely will say, okay, got it, or something like that, right? Now imagine all of those messages coming in every day that I'm assigning things to you, and every single time I get, okay, got it, will do, Joey, no problem. Those are messages I don't need to see. But I know you want to be polite and everything. You want to know that I got it. So I said, look, you don't have to do that, because I love it, and I am a person who wants to know what's going on, like where are we progressing. But here's the thing: if I give you an assignment or a comment, and you have no follow up comment that really is asking a question, it's just like you've acknowledged it. Just click the resolve thing, and I'll know that you got it. So I don't see the messages anymore. I don't see the things, because as ADHD, you're being distracted. That 1 second takes 15 minutes of my time again to kind of refocus, right? So those are decisions that are coming in, or not really decisions. They're more of distraction in this case.
Yes.
And this is
And
super important for everybody to understand.
people can't read our minds. So what I often hear,
No,
delegating, they didn't do it properly. I would have done it differently. Well, did you tell them explicitly how you want it? So when I think of that, you're going to delegate. Hey, I just need this back by 2 p.m. Then you don't have to sit and worry like, oh my God, how long is it going to take them? Whatever. You've obviously got a reliable team. You can put it out your head that you'll get it by 2 p.m. They don't have to sit and wonder, oh, I wonder when he wants it by, whatever. And then the what's it? The I don't know what it's called, but the communication. If there's a problem, then let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to assume it's going to be done by 2 o'clock. So
right.
if you have
And
problems and you see that it's not going to be done by 2 o'clock, then
yeah,
communicate. But also don't wait till 2 o'clock and say you couldn't do it, because I don't think that's helpful.
no. No, that's where it comes back to protecting your time. You set up clear boundaries. And when you're working with other people, like you said, the communication has to be so bang on, because nobody can read our minds, like you said. So I've corrected myself so many times, because it's not their fault, it's mine for not communicating exactly what I mean. And that
Got
is
to
why as soon as I say it one time, I copy and paste it into Notion, into our doc, our working team doc, and say, go read that thing, because that's what it's all about. You'll see, I don't want to have it where, again, I'm making decisions I don't need to make. Like, it's just it's I am one of those people who cannot stand to make decisions. Like, that's why I like going to Costco, because they only give you one or two options. That's it. They've done the work. They've done it. I've only got two options to buy here. Which one am I going to buy? And that even freaks me out. I'm like, well, which one is better? Right?
Yeah, the more choices people have, the more overwhelmed they get. But
Yeah,
speaking
it's
to that,
so yeah.
of delegating, right?
Yeah.
It also comes back to, I might do it in blue, but does it really matter? Obviously, if you've got branding, but it really matter if I got it back in black or I got it
Yeah.
back in font? Oh, I wouldn't have used that font. Does it matter? Right? But if you wanted that font, then tell someone. So it's also, and then that's where people go into the cycle. Well, I could do it better myself. Well, it's okay. What matters? And I guess that's prioritizing as well. Does this really matter that it's, I don't know, a different border or whatever it is? And
I
no.
think that
So you've let go of
Yeah.
stuff and not.
Yeah, no, you're right. One of the things I learned from when Cosm was on, and he was talking about the black box thinking, and it was like working with other people. And so we were talking about that, and he said, like, there's a black box of how things are done. Like, this is where you are, and this is what the outcome you want. Those are the only two things you need to know. Here's the problem. Here's the outcome. The black box in the middle, I don't know what it looks like. So go do it. So that's when you send it out and you go do this. As long as I get this outcome, don't care how you do it. And I love that thinking. Now there are pieces where I will say, look, there's a reason why when you're copying and pasting, I'll give you a perfect example of this with color, okay? Because so if I have a thread that I'm conversing with, and I want to copy the thread, like their comments or the post, and then my comments, and then other people's comments, if I copy all of that over, then my comments are always in blue. Like, I highlight them in blue only
I do.
because I want to know it's my comment, right?
Yeah,
And later on I can go back and go, did I say that or didn't I say that?
I do
And that's
that
the
as well.
only the only you do that as well. So there you go. So those are rules that kind of have to be in play for color. But
But
like you said, if somebody was doing a report and they wanted to do it all in blue and white and whatever, I don't really care.
but guilty. I'm just going to own this. Is because I was struggling with what I was doing. I started off with blue. This is questionable. They're like, oh, I don't know what blue. I put it in green. Like, oh my God, like seriously, what a waste. And when I'm using my iPad, which you now educated me on, um, sometimes I don't pick the same blue, and so it's different. So every doing an A to find the match like it's paint. And so I just know that about me, and I just accept it, and I go like, but again, that's all decisions burning up. And part of that whole decision making is what also impacts it is how hard the decision is. So if you're making big important decisions, then it's like apparently 20 to 50 decisions and you're done, versus other random decisions it's 70 to 100. So the level of the decision also impacts how quickly that decision fatigue happens. And one other thing that just confirms this is they've done studies, and people going to restaurants make unhealthier choices on a Friday than they do on a Monday.
Because of the decision fatigue from all week.
They're tired, whatever, and so it's like, oh, I can't even think. I'm just going to order what I like. And so people apparently order more unhealthy food at the end of the week, at the beginning. And again, that's why at the end of the day, people sometimes aren't their best because they're just done.
I think that, as we're on this decision fatigue, I love this topic, by the way. It's shifted over to more of like decision making. And this is one of the things where I'm so adamant about this, because I just gave you the 10-10 rule, right? Now think about that. If anybody listening to this, listen to this. If you are making a decision that you're like, okay, so, like, again, this is where, okay, I'm going to record this. I need this task. I need to go do this. But while I'm doing the task, I'm going to write down the steps that I'm doing. That's a decision that's going to help me in the future. However, it's a pain in the butt right in the moment because it's taking me longer to do that. But this is where the decision comes in with the 10-10-10. Okay, so how's this going to impact me in 10 minutes? Probably nothing. I'm going to be more mad in 10 minutes because it's taking me longer. In 10 months from now, wow, right? Because I'm going to come back and go, oh, how did I do that again? And this happens to me every day, Lauren. Every day I go back and think, oh, how did I do that again? And I know that I got it stored in Notion, and I just look it up and go, oh, yeah, that's right. Not only is it there and I can follow the rule again, but that process is gone out of my head. I love Einstein, the rule of if you can look it up, it doesn't need to be in your head, right? That's it. And so I operate on that every single day. Can I write something down and store it so that I never have to think about it again, and when I need it I'll go look it up? Done. And that's a decision that you're making now for the future Joey, future Lauren, future whoever's watching right now.
And I remember I don't know how long ago, we actually did a whole show on delegation. So also where two places people make bad decisions is one is, oh, I can do it better, or I wouldn't have done it like that.
Yeah.
So that's, they don't delegate, right? Or I could have done it quicker. But
Yeah.
you can train it as quick and maybe quicker. The other thing is people expect it's a trade. I give you this and I want my 5 minutes back now. It doesn't happen. It's not tit for tat. It doesn't happen like that. It's not an immediate time back, like what you're experiencing, right? You're not going to
Right.
get it tomorrow, but in a month's time, oh my gosh, you're going to get so much time. So that's another
Right.
thing to keep in mind. Is, that's managing expectations, but that's also, if you know that, then don't expect, what, I gave them 5 minutes, I didn't get 5 minutes back at the end of the day. No, but in a month
Right.
you might get 5 minutes back. And
Yeah.
so
I can't agree with you more. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead. Keep going.
I was done.
I yeah, because when I look back now at Kath, who is my like right hand person, my executive assistant, I can't even imagine, you know, having to do that time back. Like just the freedom that she gives me. Kathy, if you're watching this, I love you. You're amazing. Um, is incredible. And so yeah, that's what the whole thing, Dan Martell, the whole buy back your time. That's the whole idea. And thank God for him. Thank God for, who's the other dude? There was another book. Can't remember now. Anyway, but I bought into those and go, yeah, I need to buy back my time. And it was a painful process. It's still kind of a painful process now. But you're right. In a week from now, it's going to be amazing. Already in 1 or 2 days, I can already see the times being sped up. And here's the funny thing, and I guess this is a little bit of a technical thing, but maybe it'll help other people understand. But I'm doing like a share process, right? Like from overseas. So my bookkeeper's in the Philippines, and they're like opposite hours now,
mm,
right? So uh most of the time they're working on graveyard shift for them to be on our time. But this absolutely is perfect because we can't use QuickBooks at the same time. She's just logging into my computer and using, right? So I can't do my whole thought process was, first of all, hey, we'll both work on it. Like you do your thing and I'll do my thing. I found out I can't really do that right now unless I pay more money to do all these things. I'm like, well, what's a better thing here? Again, what's one thing that I can do that's different? So she'll log in now earlier on her time, which is better for her, which is 6 a.m. in the morning to like 12 p.m. my time, which, if you know anything about me, if you guys have been watching me, you know that I don't do anything before 12 o'clock. I don't do anything except, get up, have my coffee, read, journal. And then I'm at 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock is all my creative time. It's not bookkeeping time or numbers time, right? So it absolutely works out perfectly, because if she exits and I want to get back into doing, catching up on my thing at 1 o'clock, she's already off and she's already gone. Now I can take over. So that's one huge area. I don't know where I was going with this, but that's one big thing that I found is super, super important to have. Where was I going with this? My ADHD just kicked
well,
in. I'm like,
Kath,
what was the point?
well, that you've got different people that helping you and just getting them ready. I just want to give you some feedback.
Okay.
um how amazing Kath is. If you're watching, love her. How amazing she is, and what's happened, and I'll tell you what it is. And I noticed it after, like, probably the second or third time we were organizing to do this. I know it came in. So how amazing she is in doing what I guess she should. Obviously she should. And how good your SOPs are in blocking your time. Because I've noticed now, I see it. If And I'm not good. I'm also like can be very late for her and getting her like a topic right. But if I give her the topic on like this one, I got straight away. I gave it to her straight away. And I always get the same response. I'll give it to Joey on Monday. I go,
Yeah.
man, like that's amazing because obviously that's
Yeah.
I was so impressed, that she was consistent and that you had that in place. Because in my head, I'm going
Yeah.
like, Monday, the first time she said that. But then when I thought about it, I go, that's amazing. So
Thank you.
that's proof of everything
Yeah,
that.
it was protected time. Like I told her, these are my times. They're protected times. This is how we relate to people. We want to acknowledge them that this is. But I don't want expectations because I mean, it's not like I don't care about it, you or anybody else, but like we also have to protect our time. We have to have the shutdown time, right? We have to recharge our batteries. And if I'm answering and going through all the, anywhere over the weekends like I used to, I'm, you talked a little bit about burnout, which maybe we'll talk about next time. Like I found out that like I'm the poster boy of burnout, like recently. And I had no idea because burnout to me was like, exhaustion. You're like, like, and yeah, I get tired here and there, but I read Dr. Romy's book and it was like, holy crap, I have all of this. And it's all these hidden things behind the scenes. And I took the test and I think I was like at 96% burnt out. And I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. So that even led me to even, push more toward, no, you got to protect all of this time. And then even, one of the hardest parts is, and Kath, again, she does an amazing job because it's like, she handles the calendar now. Like, I don't know. I don't know you're on with it. It's not because I don't care. I just don't know who's on until that day when it comes up. I'm like, oh, okay, I got a guest today, Lauren, and here's what we're talking about. So she's taken all that decision stuff away. Because you're communicating with her. What do you want to talk about? What's going on, right?
So
And that is
I
such a huge relief.
So I owe Kath a huge apology. So Kath, if you're watching, here it is. And if she's not, you need to make her watch this. And I didn't realize it till now when I said it out loud that you've got a system for this. Is
Yeah,
I realized by me getting the topic late to her, it has a consequence for her because there's a specific time that she has to deliver it. And I'm going, what does it matter? Like, I don't know, like, does it matter when she gets it on Monday? But I think it probably does. And so I
yeah,
often send it in very late, and I'm sure that creates stress or whatever for her.
well,
So um, in
yeah.
future,
It's more. It's just
Monday.
more of a like. She's so here's the thing. All my team, I've told them, you're like a second brain for me. Like you have to take care of reminding me about all kinds of different things because it's going to be in one ear and out the other. And it's not because I disrespect you or anything. It's just or what's going on. It's just that's the way my brain works. I'm on to the next thing. So she's always reminding me of stuff. So now if a topic comes in late now for this, then that's making me scramble that night or closer to the time to try to figure out, okay, what am I going to talk about? And that's not you. It's not on you. It's just
No,
that
but
the thicker,
whole thing.
the better I have it.
But there's two parts to it, right? Because there's never anyone 100% at fault. So, but
Right. It's no blame whatsoever.
no. But this is an example of priority versus a false deadline. It's
Right.
going to affect someone else. So it is. But on the same hand, I haven't been told like there's a deadline. So that's why I didn't think until now I've realized it. So I figured it out. But that's why
Yeah.
it maybe doesn't
We
matter for me, but I think it must. And so
Yeah,
again, like
we don't communicate that at all. You're right. Like we don't say, "Hey, you need to have it in," because I don't really want that pressure on you guys, on you anyway. Because a lot of the people that, including yourself, that are here, they're doing me a favor. You're taking time out of your day. It's hard enough to get somebody to come on here live on a 7 o'clock. So we really don't enforce that. Like, okay, you're gonna put stress on Joey because you threw in your topic half an hour before or during the day. I can deal with
but
it all. That's why this show is open.
but here's the thing. It's using up my decision because now I'm worrying and it's like on my mind and like whereas if I just done it when I knew I was going to be on, but now it is a distraction because I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to, I don't know what topic to give it. And then I haven't given it and I'm like getting stressed. So it's some of the things like reset. If it's going to take less than 2 months, then just do it.
Yeah,
Right?
and you know what? While you're on that, and for anybody else who's going to be on this show in the future, here's the thing. If you ever get decision fatigue on what do I want to talk about, throw it back to Kath because she's great at this and say, I really have no idea. Do you want to throw me some topics and maybe we can sort through that? And she'll be able to do that as well. So she's a great liaison between the two. Yeah.
Yes, very good at that because I sometimes haven't, I don't know if it's because I haven't gotten back, going like, what the hell, I better just use
possibly. Who knows?
God. But that's the game. That's a great team.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very, very blessed. And it all comes down to less decisions, let them make decisions. We've made mistakes. I've made way more mistakes, learning process. And it's so fun. I would never go back to the old Joey. It's like, how do I do more of this? So let's end it here because I know you have to go. And we will pick this up because I want to really do a conversation on, maybe the decision topic again, like really get into it, maybe how to build teams with it or whatever. We'll come up with something. We'll let Kath figure it out.
There you go. Kath says she's going to have to watch this because
she'll see it.
She was the topic of coffee today was kind of Kath.
I appreciate you, Lauren. I appreciate you, Kath. I appreciate everyone watching, by the way. #replay if you're watching the replay. Thank you for being here every Tuesday night. Lauren, we'll see you again whenever Kath's and you schedule yourself in, because I won't know until that day, but I know it'll be sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
Any parting wisdom?
You know what? The other thing is you're coming out of this, there's probably 5 things you could do. So pick and do that. And then you just know, I'm going to do that till I've got it dialed in.
I love it. I love it.
Controlling, managing decisions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll see everyone next week at 7:00 again. And we'll see you sometime in the future. Lauren, it's a pleasure as always.
Thank you. Thanks, Joey. Thanks, everyone.